welcome back. This is Natasha. So today's cards, I have two examples here, and I'm using the Fawn Roar stamp and die sets. So I'm doing some more like boys' birthday cards, or men, masculine, or I guess, yeah, male cards. Okay, so I am starting with some soft blue cardstock or powder blue cardstock. I'm going to take a chevron stencil and then just making sure everything's going to stay in place. I'm adding some low tack tape and some removable adhesive. And then, so we went on a trip a couple of weeks ago, and I had stamped out all of the images from the Rawrsome stamp set, and I colored them while I was on the trip. We actually had to go to another island, so I just colored in between when we had some downtime, and then brought them home and just cut them out with the matching dies. So using the Nouveau Glimmer paste, I'm gonna use I think it's Moonstone. Yeah, so I'm gonna be using that and a palette knife and just kind of spreading the glimmer paste all onto my cardstock. Okay. And there's going to be a part of this video, and you'll see it when it comes, but a little backstory. So I have two boys. They're a little older, in high school, so I don't have babies around my house anymore, but for the past year I have been helping my sisters, two sisters, watch their little babies, their daughters. And so I try to do this, there's all my dinosaurs that I had cut out and colored, and here's the finished product. When the glimmer paste is dried, it is gorgeous. The different hues you get, gorgeous. So back to my story. So I've been helping my sisters watch their daughters, and so I do try to film some of my videos while the girls are with me or when the girls are napping. And so this part actually right here, I am filming while the baby is, well, both of them are sleeping, but the baby does wake up in the midst of my filming this. So let's go back to the card, and here I have a little stitched die cut of a rounded square, and I die cut that with some matte gold, and then adding some, I took a grassy border die and cut a couple of different pattern papers of green. Okay, and then I did use a sentiment die, and then I stamped my sentiment there. And this part here is where my niece woke up, and I actually have her on my lap so I could finish this video. So you'll see her, and it's a little difficult I'm holding her with one hand and trying to use my other hand to glue this little dinosaur down in the grass. So you'll see her. She makes her little appearance in the video. But I have her there on my lap, and she's, grabbing my desk and slapping the desk and trying to bite down on my desktop. So you'll see me, move her hand, or I try to grab her because she's trying to bite the desk. And it's not easy having a little, she's actually 7 months old. And so having a little 7-month-old on your lap while you're trying to craft is a challenge for sure, but she actually did really well. I just wanted to get this piece, the focal piece, just put onto the card so it could dry. So as soon as I'm done with this, I stop recording and I you know, I spend the rest of the day with my two little nieces. But yep, she got to hang out with me while I was crafting on this day. I'm just going to put a heavy block there to hold it and let it dry. Okay, so I did the next day. I got to finish up the card. I just used some foam adhesive, popped up my sentiment, and that is that for the first card. Really cute, super simple, very glittery, but still good for like a young boy that is having a birthday. Okay, so next one, I'm using this natural card stack. I'm going to be using a brown plaid paper from that card stack. And I'm going to be using the Fawn scalloped pop-up box die set. So here's my two pieces. I already scored all of the lines I needed to score, and I just didn't score that piece there. That's going to be the piece that stands up. It's going to hold the sentiment on it. Okay, and then I'm going to be using this piece here. It's a little tab die, and I'm going to be cutting that 4 pieces of gray cardstock. Okay, so here's everything. Pretty much I glued the box together, and then I already had inserted my 4 tabs inside. And I did take some vintage photo distress ink, and I inked up the edges. I also took my grassy border die cut, and I used some shimmer green cardstock and cut that out as well. Okay, and then I'm going to use, there's these 4 squares and rectangles, and I'm going to cut all those out. Those are for the panels on the card, and I already distressed them with the vintage photo as well. So using like the egg stamp here and the little footprints, I'm going to be using those and just putting some like little embellishments on the panels. So prepping my surface, and I'm going to use some Versamark ink and take the little dinosaur footprints and kind of have it trailing along this little square panel. Taking some clear embossing powder, and I'm gonna just heat set that. Look at how cute that is. So subtle, but it makes it look like the dinosaurs have been walking around, you know? So I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side, but that side I'm gonna actually emboss with a gold embossing powder. So I'm going to do the same process. I already prepped my surface, taking the little footprints and adding that. Okay, so I took this yay die cut from my favorite things. It's called So Many Yays. I just got this die set. I'm super stoked about it. I've been wanting a yay die for a while. So I cut that out of some matte gold cardstock using my adhesive, my liquid adhesive. And I'm going to be putting that onto the rectangle panel. And I just wanted the top of the Y to basically like hug the little panel there. I stamped underneath it Dynamite with some VersaFine Onyx black ink. And then adding some liquid adhesive. And I'm just going to attach that to the part on the card box that I didn't score. So that part's sticking straight up, so the sentiment is doesn't flop over. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding my grassy borders to the tabs on the inside of the box using some liquid adhesive, and then just attaching. And I did just use my tweezers to hold it all in place. So you see on the side I have a couple of pieces of the grassy borders on the side that I had to trim. So I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to save it. I'm actually going to use it on a part on the card. So the 2 panels with the little footprints, I attached those 2 as well. And now I'm going to work on the last panel. And so that one, I'm going to be taking the little pieces of the grassy border die that I cut and just basically puzzle piecing them onto this front panel here. So I did take 2 pieces and just glued them straight down to the panel, and then the last little piece I actually popped up with some foam adhesive. And I'm going to be taking the little cracked eggs that I had colored and die cut when you're trying to put two words together. But I colored and die cut the 3 little eggs. So I'm just gonna actually put them in the grass like they had hatched. And so I'm just gonna place them where I want them to go, and then just adding some liquid adhesive and then gluing those pieces down to that panel there. And then I'm gonna take that whole panel and I'm gonna just liquid glue it to the front there. Really, really cute. Okay. And that's basically how the box looks before I put my little critters on the inside. Okay, so here's the fun part. I'm going to be putting all my little dinosaur critters in the grass. So I'm going to use my tweezers just to hold the dinosaurs in place while the glue dries. And then the little pterodactyl, I did attach him to some acetate because I wanted it to look like he's flying above everybody else in the little grassy area. So I'm just going to attach him with some liquid adhesive and just place him there in the box. Okay, so here's everybody in their places. I have, I think it's the Stegosaurus, and I have the little birthday hat on him. Okay, so this basically, if you know what a pop-up box does or what it looks like, it folds over, everything's hidden inside. And they did want to show that it does fit in a standard A2 size envelope. You just have to do a little bit of wiggling and it fits right in there. Close it up, put your stamps on it, and when the recipient gets it, they can pop it out and it just like bursts open and all the fun stuff comes out. So really cute. Oh my goodness, I love it. So there's like the little panels that I had cut and distressed, and so those are just going to go on the front panel there, and you can write your little greeting on one of those panels in the back part of the box. So I'm just going to adhere all of those panels onto my onto the card box, and I'm going to add a little bit of glimmer mist and call it a day. So here are some still shots of the 2 cards that I made with this techniques. I just wanted to make some very masculine or boy themed cards. I am actually going to post another video right after this one. It's going to be like a part 2. It's going to be basically the same thing. I'm going to be using the same stamp set and really gearing my cards towards boys or men. So I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Mahalo, ahui ho.